On Arsenal, now they've been mentioned. I wanted to ask you, Potsy and LB, before the end of the show. Played well on Saturday. You kind of got through this period between the international breaks with the injuries quite well. But it does appear to have really rattled Arteta routers and rivals to a weird level. And I don't know if you've seen that. Just maybe what I've seen online. Just weird analysis, weird attacks, and just general frustration from from the people that dislike you, pundits as well. How have you seen it the last few days as an Arsenal fan, or is this being blown out of proportion in your opinion?
I think if you go on social media, then it's not blown out of proportion. If you speak to people that you respect in the game, then you'll actually get genuine conversation that I think is actually quite interesting. When you go on Twitter, all I see is Bukayo Saka, Bukayo Saka, Bukayo Saka. There's a lot of people I've seen have a weird obsession with Bukayo Saka. I think he's a great player. Everyone else must think he's world class or something, because that's all I hear people doing is comparing him. Whenever he has a assist or a goal, I hear quite a lot on Twitter, and you go on Twitter and have you seen this, Potsy? Look at this, Potsy. And I get sent quite a lot from people on Twitter. I ignore them. I never ever comment on them because that's what they want, right? But I look at it and I think, wow, just let the kid do what he's doing. It's not nothing world class. He's not got to levels, but actually he's doing quite well. If you think he's overrated, that's fine. It doesn't actually bother me, because he might be. If you believe that someone has said, I think Saka's as good as Cristiano Ronaldo was in the Premier League, you might go, oh, that's a little bit overrated, but he's doing well. That's fine. But does not mean that you can slate everything the kid's doing. So, look, I think he deserves a hell of a lot of credit for what he's doing at the moment. I think he's been in a really good form in the last 7 games, 9 GA now. That is incredible. I think what Havertz is doing deserves a hell of a lot of credit in terms of 1 goal in every 2 games since he's been playing as a 9 since the back end of January when he first started there. At the moment, they seem to have a good telepathy. But there does seem to be a weird scenario about Arsenal's start to the season. I don't think people like that we've got through this patch unscathed. And people will say, what can we get with now? I'll tell you what, we'll call it M&S Tony Pulis football. Do you know what? If M&S Tony Pulis football sits as 1 point off the league and the same goal difference as Man City, I can't wait till we don't play Tony Pulis football and we start going free-flowing, because I'm happy with it right now. Look, some of our attacking isn't looking great at times, and it looked pretty unconvincing against Leicester and Southampton in parts, right? And that's going to worry fans, and rival fans are going to say, is that a concern? Of course it is, man. I want to blow teams away by 4 or 5 goals. But we scored 4 against Leicester. We scored 5 against in the League Cup. We got 2 against PSG, and we got 3 against Southampton. So we're not Tony Pulis ball. Let's try and lump it up and win 1-0, are we? Because we're scoring goals again now. And we're not even playing to our best yet with our players out. With Ødegaard, our apparently most creative player, out. So things are going all right at the moment. I just don't think rival fans like to see it. I think they thought, I can't wait for City to put Arsenal on their backside. City couldn't do it. City weren't able to beat us. Villa weren't able to beat us. Tottenham weren't able to beat us. And in the Champions League, we got 4 points out of 6. And apparently Arsenal don't look very convincing and are playing Tony Pulis football. I don't get it. 2 seasons ago, Terry, 3 seasons ago, maybe even decades ago, what did Arsenal do? They've only got one way of play, and they've got no defence, and they're a soft underbelly. Turn it round. I don't like these dark arts, and Arsenal playing defensive football. So we can't win them.
Tony Pulis football, yeah.
Tony Pulis football.
It's like you're going to the Britannia Stadium, bro. That's what's happening, man. You know what I mean? Robert Hoof at centre-back. Come on, man.
This is what I mean. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. We're doing our thing. We ain't got into 3rd gear yet, in my opinion. I think that, if I'm honest with you, I don't think Man City have either. I will say that. I think that Arsenal and City at the moment are just trundling along. And I think it will really hot up. I think this is going to be a phenomenal season. But I don't get where it comes from. Look, I think rival fans don't like the fact that they might secretly think Arsenal could do something this year. And they're trying to do all they can to just shout it down. That's what I think it is. Because if you're going to be saying we only score goals from corners, when Saka's just been proven, by the way, that he's created the most from open play this season, and ranking 1st in the Premier League, but he only takes corners, apparently. Corners are a massive part of the game. Set pieces are a huge part of the game. If we only scored headers from corners, I'll be thinking, crikey, can we do something else?
Do you know what I saw? Do you know what I saw? The people that are attacking Arsenal are the same people that will try and play down, say, Saka's goals by going, if you have to look at his non-penalty goals, he has the same as Jackson since the start of last season. So they did the non-penalty thing. Then a stat comes out that shows that if you take away penalty goals in 2024, Haaland and Kai Havertz have the same amount of goals. And I think this is what's happening to a lot of people online, is they are all, rather than just saying nothing or just going, oh, Arsenal are a pretty good team, they're always looking for a reason to undermine it. But because now they are clutching at straws, everything they do ends up biting them in the arse. 2 weeks ago, because you had a hard start to the season, your attacking stats were sort of between 5th and 10th in the league, like passes into the box, chances created. But we all knew by the end of the games against Leicester and Southampton, it will level itself out. Now you're one of the top teams in the league for GA and progressions into the box because you played some of the smaller teams as well. And it's just rattled. It just rattled people. Again, ironically, it doesn't really rattle City fans. I think that's because City fans are very comfortable. Like they always say that if something's said that's a little bit homoerotic, you get those men that like, oh. It's like, bruv, why are you reacting like that? Are you a bit insecure in yourself, right? Is there something you're not telling us, right? I feel like City fans are very comfortable in themselves. So City fans, typically speaking, that I come across, don't really care. But it's others who I think spent year one of Arsenal getting better going, it's a purple patch, they'll fall off. Year two, they won't repeat it. They won't challenge again. This year, I think they thought you'd fall away early. And I do think you're right. I think they're looking at it going, fuck's sake, they might actually do it this year. And instead of just saying that and accepting the reality, the levels that they are, the level of the barrel, that doesn't make sense. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel is what I was trying to say for excuses for why Arsenal are bad. They're wrong. They're proven to be wrong, and they're getting more and more rattled. And I'm not going to lie, I don't want to see anybody else but Man United do well, but I do enjoy watching people get rattled by Arsenal. It is absolutely one of my favorite little pastimes online to do. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It seems easily done. It does. And look, one thing I will say, there is a section of our fan base that will be insufferable if we win the Premier League or the Champions League. I can accept that, and I will admit that, and I would love to watch it, and I'll love to half join them, to be fair, right? But don't think that it's not the same in other fan bases. Chelsea have got this, Tottenham have got this, West Ham have got this, City, United, Newcastle, they've all got
Chelsea have definitely got it. Big up Don.
Chelsea have got Chelsea have 100% got it. So you cannot say that Arsenal are I can't have Arsenal winning the league. Yeah, I can't have Tottenham winning the league or Chelsea winning the league for the same reasons. Yeah, whoever wins the league is going to be insufferable. But I haven't actually minded Man City winning it because they haven't been insufferable, in my opinion, other than the weekend. Go on.
This is what I mean, though. Comment like this. This is why Terry gets cooked, putting Havertz and Haaland in the same sentence. See, this is the problem, CAA Mafia. You have not comprehended in any way, shape, or form what I was talking about. I didn't produce that stat, and I'm not saying they're on the same level. We all know Haaland is beyond clear as a striker. The point I'm making is you get Arsenal's haters and the Arteta routers who will pull up a stat to show that Saka's overrated because he has the same non-penalty goals as someone like Nico Jackson, only for them to look stupid a few days later because that same stat, when you compare Haaland and Kai Havertz, comes out the same. And that's because they know Saka's not an overrated player, but they're looking for an excuse to say that he is. And it's just hilarious to see people fall flat on their faces with what they're saying and doing. It's crazy. I look at it this way. Either come with genuine facts that can stand up against scrutiny or stop. And I'm not saying you have to rate Arsenal, but you can't make up lies. I don't know who I saw. I saw a tweet from somebody saying we should exclude free kicks and corners from getting you assists. I'm like, imagine KDB, LB, one of the best corner takers and free kick takers in Premier League history. Imagine that's suddenly not an attribute that matters. It's meant. Isn't it mental? Isn't it mental?
Insane.
People do it to Haaland, and I call it out the same. People go, Thierry only does this for Arsenal. No. When people say take away penalty goals, fools, tap-ins only, then why ain't everybody else tapping in balls like Haaland? Because it's a skill set that's fucking hard. Otherwise, everybody would doing it. If what Haaland does was easy, everybody would be breaking these records. What he does is beyond. Listen, there's less players that have done what Haaland has done as a football player in terms of scoring goals. Then listen, there are 100 people that don't even play Sunday League football that can do keepy ups and flicks and tricks and do skills. They're far easier than scoring goals at Haaland's level. But I don't get maybe it's the FIFA generation. I'm not sure, but some of the stuff I see is so funny, man. It's hilarious.
No, that's just a modern
Hilarious.
football take, so isn't it? I think that's just the way it's. That's just the way it is. Like, you know what I mean?
I expect though to see a lot of comparisons this season with Palmer and Foden and Bellingham and Palmer and Bellingham. That's what I'm expecting next, because apparently Lee Kazi's come out in an interview and said, "No, them one or two of those three are going to get dropped," which tells me Saka's the right winger, so he's the one not getting dropped. That says a lot.
One of them kind of. I mean, the problem is that we had this issue with centre backs for England for a long time in my childhood, where we had world class and top class centre backs like Gary Pallister and Steve Bruce that weren't in squads. You had players like Andy Cole not in England squads because we were so stacked. I actually think just picking all of those good attacking midfielders because they're all good is ridiculous, and then playing two of them out of position is crazy. I think if you think that Palmer's the best and Foden's second best, then you drop Bellingham. There's no point having all three of them in your squad. You don't need all three.
What's amazing, Terry, is when we were growing up, Adams and Bold and Pallister and Bruce, and hardly any of them were the centre-back pair. You had Adams, of course. Bruce never got an England cap, which is mad. And Steve Bold hardly played for England at all. And they were like part of two of the best partnerships around in the 90s, weren't they? Do you know what I mean? It's insane. So, look, I'm with you 100%. And I think there's a place for all of them. I actually do think you put one of them left. Maybe it's Saka. Maybe it's Palmer. Maybe you want to put on the left-hand side. But for me, you can put them all in. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens for sure.
You had that also with Lee Dixon. Like Lee Dixon, he played a bit, but as soon as Gary Neville established himself, he rarely got game time. And yeah, I just think that this is what happens. And right now, I know Foden hasn't started the season well, but right now, if I'm dropping one of those three from the England squad, it's actually Jude Bellingham. Palmer can't be dropped. No, I mean it. It's not even a dig. It's not a dig.
PR on that guy is unreal, man.
I like all three of them, but honestly, I do think with Foden, with Foden, I don't want to see him played in multiple positions. But you know what? If you've got him in your squad as a backup 10, if there is an injury on the left, he can go there. Does that make sense? Palmer, if there's an injury on the right, can go there. With Bellingham, if he isn't playing that attacking midfield role, he's not a great central midfield player. I think we've got, he can't play on the wings. So it's like, again, if right now, I'm only basing it on current form, I'd go Palmer, Foden, Jude Bellingham in that attacking midfield role. I really would right now.
Yeah,
I'm game for that. I agree. I think for me, Bellingham's the most overrated one out of the four. He's at the bottom of my list.
Interesting. I mean, I think you could get them all in. I think Jude playing alongside Rice could work, and then you put Foden 10 and then Palmer, Saka either side with Kane up top. That could work. One of them's got to go left though. That's the problem.
Kane. Don't get me started on that guy, man. Harry Kane, mate. Who's our next? Who's the one that's coming up, man? I was so good. I almost started crying when I found out John Duran was Colombian, mate. Yeah, honestly, I thought he was English. Me, I was like, come on, get this guy in for Harry Kane. And then someone dropped it in the chat, says Colombian. I was wounded because we need to get rid of him, man. Nah, we're not going to win anything with him up top. Harry Kane, he ain't got it. Wow. He ain't got what it takes.
Still scoring goals though, isn't he?
No, I don't like him. No.
Nah. I do think we have to start looking beyond him now, because when I watch Harry Kane play, I do see a player who I think is going to age out really quickly. I feel like his decline will be quite rapid. And I think we saw, you watched him against Villa the other day, strong, fast team. He just looks so ineffective. So ineffective.
Watkins is the next one in line, man. It's either Watkins or Solanke, isn't it? After them.
As well. I reckon it'd be Liam Delap, the way he started. It could be him.
Yeah, he looked really good.
I like him. I must say, I like him. Yeah.
You can't play Foden. I mean, would you play Bellingham as a number 9?
I don't. I'd rather play Bellingham as number 9 than Kane.
Jeez.
I really don't like Kane. I must say, I really don't like it. I think I know he scores goals and that, but like, bro, sometimes the guy stinks the gaff out. And Terry's right, man. I think when he loses it, he'll lose it quick. Because he was so poor the other night, man. The guy couldn't move.
Yeah, it's all right scoring goals when you play the minnows in Europe, but you have to look at the performance against the bigger and the better teams. He looks like his hips hurt nowadays. It looks like he's playing with like my granddad. Do you know what I mean? Them hips don't look great. Do you know what I mean? I bet when he sits down at home, he goes, ugh, like old man noises. I do that. I'm 38. Do you know what I mean? I make a noise when I sit down and stand up. I bet Kane is moving into that realm. Do you know what I mean? Where his knees just need to rest a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Kane. Palmer ends up at striker, in my opinion. No, he's not a number 9. He's not
I'd
a number
rather have
9.
Bellingham.
If all of them go, we deserve all that's coming. Oh, about Liverpool, that is. Yeah, makes more sense.
Fair comment.
Yeah, facts. That's fair.
No, you will. Look, I want to.